your father found out I was thugging? Do you believe me when I tell you you the one I'm loving? Are you mad cause I'm asking you 21 questions? Are you my soulmate? Cause if so, girl, you a blessing. Do you trust me enough to tell me your dreams? I'm staring at you trying to figure how you got in them jeans. If I was down, would you say things to make me smile? I treat you how you wanna be treated, just teach me how. If I was with some other chick and someone happened to see, and when you asked me about it, I said it wasn't me, would you believe me or up and leave me? How deep is our bond if that's all it takes for you to be gone? We only humans, girl, we make mistakes to make it up, I'll do whatever it takes. I love you like a fat kid love.
What's up, my people? How y'all doing? Welcome back to My Voice, Our Agenda. Special edition. Make sure y'all share this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tuesday evening. First, let me give thanks to God for waking me up this morning, giving me another chance to reach out to my people. I appreciate everybody that supports me. And I thank God for giving me a chance to wake up this morning. Thank you. I believe in you. Without you, I'm nothing. With you, I am everything. Thank you, Lord. I'm gonna jump right into it. I did a video the other day about the Karmelo Anthony trial. That case didn't last too long. After the prosecution called 21 witnesses, and after they testified and gave their account of the situation that happened that day between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. As I stated before in my previous video, it was an unfortunate situation. It shouldn't have happened, but it happened. I made that video. It was a follow-up video that I made last year when the case had broken, when it first broke, about the incident that happened. And I did a follow-up video the other day. And I made my comments. I spoke I spoke from my heart. I spoke how I felt. And I got mixed reviews, mostly negative reviews of those that didn't agree with my take on a situation, that disagree with how I felt, what the outcome should have been, and how I felt it being an all-white jury. This was most likely going to be the outcome today. As we all found out that 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony was convicted of first-degree murder. The verdict came back in about 3 hours after the jury deliberated. 3 hours after the prosecution and the defense team gave their closing argument, the judge gave the jury, as they were requested, to stay in deliberation until the verdict was reached. It only took 3 hours to convict Karmelo Anthony of first-degree murder. an all-white jury, and you can agree, you can disagree, you can take it how you want to take it, but if you know the law and you know how things are supposed to be when it comes down to choosing a jury, it's supposed to be the jury of your peers. Being that Carmelo Anthony is a young black man, there was not one black person, there was not even a Hispanic on that jury. There was no jury of his peers selected. He was hung without a tree. He was hung without a rope before the first argument even started. The moment they did that, and unfortunately I feel this way, I only feel this way because of the history of this country. I only feel this way because of the rise in tension and the racial tension that's rising in this country today. As much hope I had that this young man be acquitted, he will beat the case, in my heart, it was a long shot. This is not making excuses. This is not a direct shot as being a black and white thing, but it's reality, right? I wasn't there. You weren't there. As I stated, it was a very unfortunate situation between two teenagers, let's say five teenagers, maybe six, because a lot of truth wasn't out. And I'm going to speak based on testimony. I'm not going to speak as if I was there. He was outnumbered, and he was not the aggressor. According to testimony, which they contradict themselves a couple of times, the first contact that was made, it was by Austin Metcalf. The first physical contact that was made was Austin Metcalf. The encounter, the interaction was initiated by Hunter and Austin Metcalf. That's what I'm going off of. Should he been stabbed? Maybe not. But we are totally forgetting that this man was assaulted. Whether a push is called an assault, or finger touching, whatever the case may be, the initial contact, the initial physical contact came from Austin Metcalf. These are facts, not assumptions, not speculation. These are facts. So we are demonizing this young black man as if he walked into that tent and just started trouble. Just came in there to pick a fight so he can use his under 3 inches knife to kill somebody. What we don't hear on mainstream media, or even on social media, there was a guy in that tent named Eddie, another person that was there. When Anthony When Carmelo Anthony went into the tent, he gave Eddie that. What's up, dog? So he knew him. He knew him personally. Carmelo Anthony and Eddie knew each other personally. More so to a point where Eddie moved over to try to give Carmelo some room, or he traded places with another person to give him some room to sit down because it began to rain and he went into the tent. This is what they don't talk about. But I'm going to address this because I'm not going to make a video and I'm reading all these comments and I'm going to get to that. And the facts are not being spoken. He never had a chance to sit down because he was approached. He was surrounded by 4 individuals. These are facts. You don't belong in this tent. Get out. These are the words of Hunter and Austin Metcalf. That conversation was not initiated by Carmelo Anthony. That was initiated by the twins. Austin stepped up as the big guy. Did Anthony reply, "How dare you touch me?" or "Go ahead and touch me," to that effect? I don't know the exact word. That was said that's the way Anthony responded. "How dare you touch me?" Austin decided to call his bluff. In the meantime, they snatched his bag. Hunter grabbed his bag. Testimonies from other people that was testifying and witnesses saying he had his hand in the bag. But in the interview, after the incident happened, Hunter said he snatched the bag. They threw the bag. That sounds like somebody being antagonized, being bullied. These are facts. That came out of Hunter's mouth. And that's the reason why the prosecution didn't put Hunter on the stand. Because you will figure his brother got killed, they're at trial. You figure the brother will get up there, which had first-hand account of what happened. He was there. He was standing. He was closer than anybody else. But he did not testify. That's because when he gave interviews after the incident that happened, his story kept switching up. Or he said some things that would be damaging to the prosecution. But this is not what social media is talking about. I'm not speculating. I'm giving you facts based off the word of mouth. So, who was the aggressor? Who were the aggressor? Based off the account of those that were there, the witnesses, the brother Hunter Metcalf. Who was the aggressor? The unfortunate part is when he did push him, when Austin decided to put his hands and push him, whether he punched him, pushed him, it doesn't matter. Did he deserve to die? No. Did Carmelo Anthony have a right to defend himself? Absolutely. Anybody that's watching this video can dispute anything I said, have at it. Doesn't matter if it was white, black, blue, brown. I don't care about that. I know the nature that's surrounding this case, the nature of how the media is making it to be a racial thing. We know the temperature and the environment of today's society is a lot of racial tension. So I would say race has a lot to do with this case the charges being brought upon him, the indictment, and the conviction of first degree murder has a lot to do with race. A lot to do with race. Because if you go based off the facts, was he wrong for stabbing him? Yes. Was he defending himself? Yes. There's consequences to your action. I'm going to have to be 100. It's very unfortunate. But I honestly believe had Hunter and Austin Metcalf had mind their business and trying to be a bully, there's no reason for them to, nobody else in that tent stepped to him, stepped to Anthony, to Carmelo Anthony, and told them to leave. Nobody else in that tent. Nobody else in that tent told him to leave. Who were you to step up to somebody that you didn't know? But it was because he was black that you felt like he was out of place. If we gonna keep it funky, let's keep it all the way funky. They approached this young man because he was black. You were out of place. This is not your tent. What are you doing here? What was your thought? Because he was outnumbered, that he was gonna be a punk. Now let's really talk. The only downfall is that a young black man, another black young man, is going to prison. Another young teenager, white male, has lost his life. Both families have been destroyed. But the reality is, this is what we're living with. We have to know how to live in this society and know how to communicate with each other. But the way things are in this country today, we're going backwards. This is an incident that's going to happen again. I promise you, it's going to happen again. And that's the unfortunate part. So this is the problem I have with society. I did a video the other day, and I was talking about this case. And I got some feedback, which I appreciate, because any kind of feedback is good for me, because I want people to interact on my YouTube channel. I want people to speak. I don't get that enough. Whether it's negative, whether it's positive, I appreciate people taking the time out to give their opinions, to give their thoughts. I'm not salty about it. I'm not upset at that people calling me names and disagreeing with what I have to say. That's part of the game. If you're going to have a public forum and you're going to speak on certain issues, you have to be able to take what people have to say. So I don't get all bent out of shape about it. It's just we have two different opinions, perspectives, and we live in two different worlds. Obviously. because we have a divided nation that was rooting for two different individuals. There were a lot of those that was rooting for a murder conviction for Carmelo Anthony, and there was a lot of people that was wanting justice for Austin Metcalf. I'm cool with that. That's just the way it is, right? So let me read a couple of things what people had said. You had some guy that was saying you are delusional. Carmelo stabbed Austin and killed him. How you bringing up race and trying to say anything for Carmelo is disgusting, and I don't know what the hell he said. We have problem with people that can't spell. But anyway, let me see what else he said here. Carmelo killed someone he provoked and murdered him. Those are not facts. Now he'll pay the price, hopefully. End of story. That's his perspective, right? You have another person. First, happy birthday to your mom. You're blessed to still have her in your life. Now, regarding what you said in the video, after watching this footage, what should you give everyone pause is the fact that a young man walked into another team tent, touched me and see what happened. Not once, but well over 15 times, according to witnesses and according to witnesses, including the defense witness. The key words are touch me, not fight me, not jump me, not hurt me, provoking an interaction. First of all, you have to go back and think to yourself, if I walk into a tent and after some point I make that comment, touch me, I dare you touch me. If I have to say that, what is the other person saying for me to say that? What is going on that I have to say that? How am I the aggressor? If I walk into a tent that you feel like I'm not supposed to be there, and you come up and tell me something that I had to respond and say, touch me, I dare you? He didn't just walk in there and say that. Someone said something to him to where he had to respond like that. See, this is what y'all fail to understand. That was a reaction to what was being said to him. I don't know what was said to him, but whatever was said to him, he responded like that. If I walk up to you and say something like, man, I'll slap the hell out of you, and you said, I dare you touch me. I have to react to something, and y'all fail to understand that. First of all, Hunter or Austin Metcalf did not own that tent. Let's clarify that. If he went in there and he gave somebody that, obviously he knew somebody inside that tent, which was Eddie. These are facts. I'm not delusional. I'm not making things up. Obviously, the jury, the all-white jury, and I'm gonna keep on nailing that. He was outnumbered. Carmelo Anthony was outnumbered all around, all around, because the defense really didn't have any witnesses because he walked over there by himself. The only one that knew him personally, and he didn't do him no justice either, was Eddie. Everybody, he called, the prosecution called 21 witnesses, and they all was, not all of them, because there was a police officer and some other people, but 95% of those witnesses were for Austin. The man, listen, Carmelo didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance. But if we're going to understand something, me as a juror, and it's optional, for me as a juror, I'm like, why isn't his brother, the man that was standing right next to him, that young fellow that was standing right next to his brother when his brother got stabbed, he was there from the beginning till the end, but he did not testify because they know that Hunter would have destroyed their whole case. But God will deal with this because the truth is, Carmelo Anthony committed a crime. The question was it justifiable? Did he have a right? He didn't initiate the contact. He didn't initiate the conversation. I think we are missing the whole point here. He did not initiate the conversation. He did not approach anyone. He was approached. He did not touch anybody first. They touched him first. So you're making this out to be Austin and Hunter and everybody was they great kids. Oh my God, he was an athlete. Yeah, okay. But obviously they didn't like something where they felt they had the right to approach somebody and put their hands on them. I'll say it again. I don't believe Austin deserved to die for that. But I also think it was self-defense. That's my opinion. With that being said, I hope and pray that he appeals it. Karmelo Anthony. I hope he appeals it. Um, they haven't gave him a sentence date yet. First degree murder, which I really don't understand a first degree murder charge or conviction. Premeditated at that. People don't understand the difference between first degree murder and first degree premeditated murder. Those are different things. That premeditation carries a longer time, lifetime, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years, which I don't think he'll get that much time. But when you put premeditated on it, that means he planned it. This is why I don't understand, the attorney general or whoever brought up charges. How did you put premeditation? He didn't even know Austin, Hunter, or whoever. The only one he knew was Eddie. So how was it planned? How did he wake up in the morning or he was before it started raining, I'm gonna go in there, I don't like him, I'm gonna stab him and kill him. Or I'm gonna try to assault him. That's premeditation. He thought about what he was gonna do, he planned it. That's not the case. So even how would they even allow that to happen? How did that was allowed to happen? I'm confused. And honestly, I'm not even happy with them lawyers that he had. Carmelo Anthony lawyer. I'm confused. Like you had a whole year and you were done in 5 minutes. Your defense was damn near 5 minutes, man. Like, am I exaggerating? Yeah, but it was so short. You had a whole year to prepare. You got nothing for him. You got your life. You got his life in your hands, man. And you were done like that. That man, that young fella didn't have a chance in hell all around. But he was convicted, 19 years old. He's gonna spend some time in prison. I pray for him. I pray for both families. Yeah, I said it because despite how I feel about the case, despite how I feel about the outcome, I don't believe they were kids, man. They were kids. It was a very unfortunate situation, and both families are destroyed. One family will never see or hear or touch their child ever again. The other family will have to hear phone calls from a prison or go visit their son for the rest of their life, for the rest of his life in prison. If that's what they're going to do as far as the sentencing. So there's no winners here. Let me emphasize that there's no winners here. Let this be a lesson learned for all you young people out here. Learn how to de-escalate. Learn how to communicate. Everything don't have to be resulting in violence. Learn how to talk. I don't care what color you are. You don't like something, keep it to yourself. If it doesn't concern you, keep it to yourself. You got a problem with somebody, keep your hand to yourself. And when somebody do touch you, learn how to defend yourself with your hands. I get it, you was outnumbered. You was thinking real fast. You panicked. But a life was taken because of your action. But trust me, I understand. But sometimes a split-second decision can give you a lifetime of hell. Sometimes a split-second decision can take a life. Sometimes a split-second decision can ruin families. And a split-second decision is aimed at both of them, Austin, Metcalf, and Carmelo Anthony. Because when you put your hands on him, you made a split-second decision. But when he stabbed you with that knife, he made a split-second decision. And the result is catastrophic. It's very unfortunate. Hit that like button. Share this video. Leave a comment, which I know y'all would. Leave a comment. Subscribe. My voice, our agenda. I hope everybody enjoyed this evening. Always remember, integrity is everything. Either you have it or you don't. That's all I got to say, man. I'm not going to drag this video. I think I dragged it on long enough. I'll be back with another follow-up after they give their sentencing. When they find out how much time he's going to get. And then we can carry on with this conversation. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. One.